Loading snacks.
What's good, Loading Snacks Universe? Your boy Jokes is here. Got the homie Gage. I got the homie Sin. And you know what time it is? It's time for another edition of Spoiler Boys.
Spoiler Boys.
Yes, and we are here to begin our discussion on the brand new Disney Plus series, Ahsoka. We have finally arrived, and we're not only going to be talking about one episode, we got two episodes to talk about today because they gave us a double whammy for the premiere.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, are you ready to jump into this?
Yeah.
Think
Yeah,
so?
yeah.
Well, let's
Born
go.
ready.
I think we'll do this as a whole instead of breaking them up per se. We'll just kind of talk about both episodes together. But let's go around the horn and give our scores for the two episodes. Sin, I'm gonna start with you.
I'm at like a
Hold on. Are we talking two individual scores, one for the first episode and the second, or are you talking about one score?
Just do
for
one
both
score.
episodes?
We can just do one score for both. Since this was like a giant movie, I think we can just do one score for it.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
No
Fair
worries.
enough. Fair enough. I'm at about an 8.5 with it.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
I
Gage?
can be pushed higher, but I'm at an 8.5.
Oh, okay. Gage?
I'm at an 8. I'm at an 8. It's a strong gate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like with a hard G. It's a strong gate.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm at an 8.
I'm right there with you. I'm at a solid 8. I thought we got a good solid start into our Ahsoka series. Obviously, this is really giving us a continuation from Star Wars Rebels. For those that are familiar with the series, you know, we've seen some of those characters, of course, show up in little tidbits in some of the other Star Wars Disney Plus series, but now we're really getting to see all of them really come back into light. I thoroughly enjoyed both episodes. I thought they did a really good job at pacing through the two of these. Now, my hope is, obviously they gave us the two, is that they were more of designed to give us like that movie feel. So that's why things felt a little more cohesive as we went through it. A little bit more time to flesh things out. As of now, we don't quite know what the other lengths of the episodes are going to be. My hope is that we stay in that 45-minute realm because I feel like that gives us enough time to flesh things out. But what do you guys think about how both of these episodes presented themselves? Gage, I'll start with you.
I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed both episodes, like handily. I think the only reason why I'm sitting at an 8 is because I'm not sure how it's like you said, it's almost like this is a continuation of Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am a little concerned with whether or not this is Rebels season 5 or if this is truly an Ahsoka series. And right now, like, what I want is Ahsoka, right? And I don't mind there being a Rebels season 5. But I feel like if that's what they're gonna do, or that's where they're leaning, that they should have just done that and either said we're doing like a Rebels live action or whatever. So because I thoroughly enjoyed these, I'm sitting at a place where I feel like there's a possibility that I could be let down because right now my head and my heart are in a place where like I really wanted to see Ahsoka and see Ahsoka do her thing, and I really want this series to feel like it's about her.
Got it.
And right now it doesn't. It's not bad though, but I'm sort of disappointed because it feels like this show is about Sabine and not so much about Ahsoka. And that doesn't mean it can't still be about Ahsoka, but it also feels like it is about the chase for Ezra, which makes sense in the grand scheme of things. In a lot of ways, the truth of the matter is, this is a show that I just feel like there are tons of people who will be watching this show who have no Rebels background at all. And they're only watching this because they saw her show up in the, they don't even know Ahsoka from nothing necessarily. And so if they don't do something, I feel like to either give some really good background, I'm a little concerned about where it can go and it being let down. There's a possibility that I might feel stronger about these 2 episodes after I see the rest of the show. Again, I could be talked out of it now, you know what I mean? Right. But that's kind of where I am. I'm a little I feel like I so want it to be about Ahsoka. I feel like she deserves it. And I don't want that taken away from her. That's kind of where I'm at.
I agree with you on that. I feel like Ahsoka, as of right now, she's had a few moments that were more to herself. So, in the early stages of the episode, we see her searching for something, trying to find a map. We see her find the map, and this part of the show is really just about her. But as we start moving a little bit more throughout the episodes, we start seeing the reintroduction for us that have watched Rebels. We start seeing a reintroduction of these characters. So Sabine Wren, Hera. I forget the guy that was the leader of the Thal that gave the presentation for Ezra, kind of celebrating the holiday.
Oh, the dude's the governor.
I can't think of his name. Him and the dude that was with him that he had talk when Sabine didn't show up. I can't think of his name.
The mayor or whatever. Yeah, but it was the mayor. It was,
they both are characters from the show. Yeah.
So we're getting a lot of those reintroductions for people that have watched, but then obviously I think they did a decent enough job to at least talk about a little bit to know who some of these characters are, to what extent that they are. Maybe not the full of, you didn't watch Rebels, you weren't in certain battles, you may not fully grasp why they are where they are. But
it's cool that they had the same. I cannot think of that character's name, but Clancy Brown, who was the actor who plays him in this, is the same actor who did his voice in the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're weaving some things. You know what I mean? They're super duper great Easter eggs all throughout this. If you know Rebels.
Even taking it back to Clone Wars, the droid that it's season 5 of Clone Wars, somewhere in that area. I forget his name. That's voiced by one of the doctors from Doctor Who.
David Tennant.
David Tennant.
You talking about Hu Yang?
Hu Yang was from even Clone Wars, or even further back. So if you're not familiar with that, he doesn't necessarily need that extra introduction. We just see him working alongside of Ahsoka, helping him out. This is her partner in making sure that, hey, when things happen, I need you to be here with that ship so we can get low and get out of here. Type of thing. So definitely even some further flashbacks, callbacks to it on there. Sim, what about you?
I kind of agree with both y'all, especially with you, Gage. I'm watching this, and yes, I'm here for an Ahsoka show, but I ended up getting so lost into the whole Rebels thing happening. Sabine is here, and we're looking for Ezra, all that kind of stuff. I was getting excited about, but yes, I do want it to stay an Ahsoka show, and that's something that hit me during the first episode that I didn't remember again until just now, because of how much I was just having fun watching. Oh, here's this character, here's that character. Okay, this is a season 5 of Rebels, but we gotta remember this is supposed to be an Ahsoka show. So we want to get more of her and her story and all that kind of stuff, but just seeing the Rebels love and them tying them into the live action and all that kind of stuff is just so cool for us to see. And now I get why they said to get ready for it, go watch at least the last season of Rebels. Okay, this is gonna be Rebels kind of heavy, so you should know that. So I suggest, if y'all have the time, people watching, and you haven't seen, go watch Rebels. It's great. And if you got even more time to go jump into Clone Wars, you get a lot of Ahsoka in that. I would say do that to kind of see where we're at now. But Ahsoka,
you asking for a lot. You asking for a lot.
That's what I said. If you have the time, everybody does not. Just I see why they say go back and watch those things. You know, so just off the first 2 episodes.
I did. I went back and rewatched season 4 like over the last week.
Mm-hmm.
Like I called myself putting it on when I went to sleep. Like I'm gonna just let it play or whatever and go to sleep.
And you was watching it.
Nope.
Watching that thing, bro.
Wasn't getting no sleep.
I was watching that thing. I was like, I have to turn this off. Like I was actively having a like, I got to turn this off.
That's
you know
great
what I
when you
mean?
find
Because
something
it's been so long, like I have forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. So I guess at this point, we'll talk a little bit. We don't have to go step for step through each one. But like I was saying in the beginning, you know, we're really open with the Ahsoka side. You know, she's looking for something. She finds what we see as to be a map. It's a golden orb type of thing. You can't really
found
the apple of Eden. That was honestly the first thing that came to mind when I saw that.
It looked like she solved a puzzle from a video game in that joint. Like she was in Tomb Raider. Like it was like
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Like.
But she finds this, and we know this is like right now where we're focusing on to try to advance and move the story along without jumping. We won't jump too far, but just know that there was some forces trying to stop her. She had droids that showed up that were absolutely not trying to let her escape.
Hey, dog.
Talk about it.
We gonna talk about this.
Talk about it.
We gonna talk about this because I'm gonna tell you something. When she came up out that hole and that droid was standing there, joint turned into a horror movie for a second.
It did. A little bit.
Like, no
more of them keep coming out.
Like they were
cut right there.
That door shot, and you could see like one of them like up in the. They thought they about to try to jump this, and they was not. Dog, it was so creepy that the droid was just standing there and just wasn't moving, and just it actually looked real dope. Like the cape was blowing, and you know, just and like for real, just that moment of like how she was like, "Oh, all right," you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
how cold she was with it.
Okay, yeah, and it felt like for us, it was like there's a little bit of Western in there, like you know, she comes out
ready to go, just ready who's gonna pop off first.
Like they was about to have like a little, and then they just, you know, it was like 4 or 5 of them. I said, okay, let's do some work. And I'm gonna tell you what, you know, I liked my fight choreography.
Oh yeah,
I was with it. I was with it. I was with it, and I felt like they were a threat. They weren't, but I felt like they were a threat because I felt like they had so much attitude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Slim just gonna come out of his mouth like, give us the map. Hey, dog.
Who is you?
Robot? Shut up, dog.
Who is you right now?
Hey, to slow back up, to drop in the hole, to start snatching them down. Like,
bro.
Yeah. Listen.
That joint was clean, dog. Like,
very much.
To me, that's how you start a joint. That's how you start a show.
You know what else I liked about that scene, just besides like the action and the tone and everything? It set kind of like the vibe for the look of everything. Like I very much like the look of the show, like with the kind of bright backgrounds and skies with the color kind of like in the forefront. I really like it. So in that moment of everything, it just set everything like just here's what you're about to get out of Ahsoka type of deal. And I'm here for it.
I agree with you. The having Dave Filoni, right, produce, direct like this show, take the character that he created for Clone Wars in Ahsoka and bring it full circle. Him, you know, with Jon Favreau being at the helm all through all these other shows, but like really getting into this, like my man is integral to what Rebels is. So yes, like it may not be technically a Rebel season 5, but like we need that. Like if they get to the end of this joint, dog, and we don't get closure, I will cry foul, even though I don't want it to be Rebel season 5.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like that look, the way that the scene, it's like literally like there's so much DNA of the way I think that those shows were done, the animated shows were done, that I feel like they put into this, like the fights in those shows, in Clone Wars and in Rebels, those fights were meticulously choreographed.
Oh yeah,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
They were really good.
Like, just like that. Again, I just rewatched. You know what I'm saying? Like this.
Right now, in my brain, I'm thinking of like Ahsoka, whatever. I'm all over the place. Versus Vader. And
Ahsoka?
Yeah, so
You think you trying to put Avatar and Wars together?
Look, that's not my strong point. It is what it is. But I'm just thinking about like her versus Maul and her versus Darth Vader, going back to Clone Wars, and knowing somehow just insanely great those action sequences were.
Absolutely.
Like I'm hopes are high for the rest of this.
I dig it. And like we'll just close out this scene. You know, she's fighting the droids, and you know they get to a point they realize she takes out a couple, and the rest of them's like, yeah, this isn't really gonna happen. So the one sent the command. It was like, yeah, activate self-destruct. And as soon as Ahsoka heard that, it was just like, lightsabers up, and it's time to get low.
Put them Jedi boots on and make a move.
Now,
those explosions were like nukes.
First things first, I did not think it was going to be that bad. I thought it was. I just thought they were going to explode like in that area right there, and stuff.
With her running away, I knew it was going to be a big explosion. I didn't expect it to be as big as it was.
So here's what I want to say about that. I'm not sure. I know they said the name of the planet she was on. I can't remember what it is right now. But if you remember, like when she got there, she like this is in the trailers too. Like she kneels down, she's like uncovering the like cutouts on the ground to like reveal where she is, and she's removing like this black dirt.
Yeah,
that looks like it's gunpowder.
Right.
And I'm like, did that whole thing just catch, like literally did they explode and it did that because they're basically like walking on,
I see what you're saying,
like some form of gunpowder or something? Like again, they don't really, they have explosives, but they don't really have gunpowder because they fire lasers, like they don't shoot. So like it just seems like whatever that was, because when she took the apple, I shouldn't call it that, the map,
right?
Once she figured that out, it was encased in like that same black dust. Like she had to like break it open. And I'm wondering if that was flammable. It almost makes me wonder whether or not they had put in some sort of a safeguard to like blow it up if it ever got found, or you know what I'm saying? Like there was maybe,
I can see that.
You know what I mean? Something else to it. That because I'm gonna be real with you. Outside of that explosion is inexplicable. Like, there's no way those like 3 droids
just did that much.
Because that joint looked like, I mean, again, it looked like a nuke went off. I mean, and they and clearly, like, I mean, it was bad, but it's not that bad because they go back to the planet looking for the joint after she was there.
Yeah, and it was like they can at least walk on the surface. They can walk on stuff, and like the way that explosion looked like, the ground, everything got taken up. But but needless to say, of course, Ahsoka does escape the gigantic explosion, and we continue our story. She has the map now. She returns back to where Hera is, so she can kind of just break down what's going on. Obviously, none of them really have the ability to figure out how to open said map or to use said map. Obviously, she's put it out there that the fact that this is trying to be found right now because of the fact this is going to lead us to find Grand Admiral Thrawn. But at the same time, this is also could potentially lead us to find Ezra and actually get him back, and just to make sure, because with the rumors saying that Thrawn is alive, what's not to think that, of course, Ezra would also be alive potentially as well too.
If Thrawn didn't murk him.
That is facts, because if I recall, they were on a ship, and did it disappear? Yeah, it disappeared into
on a ship with the interdimensional whales that they showed in Mandalorian. They were in that show first, but yeah.
And of course, so you know, they came up with one person. Hera was like, you know what? There is somebody that can help us out. try to figure this out, which brings us back to Sabine, of course. So we travel to Lothal, and this is where we meet up. The characters, they have that interaction, and you can see there's a little tension between Ahsoka and Sabine. We learned that they were at one point master and apprentice, but for whatever reason, Ahsoka left from being her master. I was thinking it would have been the other way around.
Yeah.
And that Sabine, for whatever reason, just decided not to follow being a Padawan. There is apparently a reason, but that reason is not, as of now, we don't fully understand what that actually is for it. But we turn back to her to try to find a way to open this map up. Now, I don't know about you guys. At some point, once Sabine gets her hands on it, she wants to go back to her place. She's like, I don't really want to figure this out here. I want a place that's really just to myself. I can be in my own thoughts and kind of focus on this. Needless to say, she does figure out how to open the map up. I was thinking, I don't know if we could tell if there was moving parts or anything on there. I don't know. This is just how I am. I feel like I would have just been cranking that thing, just trying to figure this out in an instant. But Jedi mindset is, we be cautious. We don't do these type of things.
I let Sabine have it. She figured it out. Cool.
Yeah, she don't really have a Jedi mindset.
Mm-hmm. And there's definitely mentions of that to Sabine. And you'll get further on and comparing her, like, yeah, when it comes time for the Force, you are definitely not one of those people that I would say has the high potential of that for it.
Put her in her place with that.
Put her in her place, but you know what? She liked the fact that he did that. It kind of, I guess, reminded her of being around him, being around Ahsoka during those times that she was training. The one thing I did glance over a little bit, after or in between this, when we start learning of what this map and what we're trying to go after, we know Ahsoka had captured somebody and had already turned them over. Morgan, I believe, is her name. And we find ourselves on a distant ship where she's actually on that ship. She's locked up. So obviously Ahsoka did her job, gave her up. She's in prison or whatever. And they're being transported, but the ship that's carrying her gets a message from a Jedi signal. Now, mind, this is after Order 66. We're well out of it. So Jedi are not something that is just a give me in this time and day right now. So
and look, and they're pulled up in like an Imperial ship.
Red flag.
Yeah,
that was
like
a Jedi. That was a Jedi like messengers. Like that was there.
It was back in that was
back. But the ship they're pulling up on, that's an Imperial shuttle, bro. Like, I'm sorry, like
yeah.
But Captain was on his guard. He was on his guard.
Captain was on his smarts and took the precautions. But realistically, if these were Jedi anyway, that probably wouldn't have mattered in the first place. Which it doesn't pan out well for Captain of the ship. We have two hooded figures come off of the ship. They allowed them in. Initially, they do present themselves as being Jedi, and they're trying to make quick work of the captain. Just the quick conversations. They want to walk off because they want to get to the prisoner. But Captain's like, nope, just hold it. We're going to take things a little bit slow. And just in an instant, we learn that they are not Jedi, and we see a big old red lightsaber come out.
Their lightsabers are not red.
They're orange. No, I will say they're definitely orange. Hers, and I'll talk about the two characters. I feel like hers may be a little bit. I've noticed there's like a hue difference between them. Shin is her name. Skull Byleth, I think that's how you say his name.
Something like that, yeah.
His is definitely orange.
They're named after the wolves in Greek mythology in Greek mythology that chased that
Byland, Byland is his name. And she makes quick work of the folks that are in the security detail that's in there. He flat out tells the captain, he's like, we're not Jedi. So they split up. He's going to look for Morgan at this point. She makes her way to the bridge. Let's be real here. None of them stand any chance against either one of them individually or together in there. And this is where we find Morgan. And there was some definitely things. As soon as I saw her, I started weaving threads, but I was like, okay, maybe not just yet, because she has a look to her. But obviously they've worked together, so when he finds her, it's pretty much quick work. Let's go ahead and let's get off the ship at this point for it. I gotta say, the two of them, Violet and Shin, are probably my two favorite things right now, just from these two episodes. Maybe we haven't seen like the Master Padawan thing in a very long time, in the sense of saying. But I thought that they had a pretty good intro. Like, did we like the way that whole entire thing played out, or how do we feel about that?
I do. I just went back and looked now. I just caught on to the color difference, so that's kind of cool. As I just went back and through that, because I didn't catch that before. But no, I like both of those characters being adversarial to Ahsoka and Sabine. I thought their introduction was cool. I like how he carries himself as a master, and right now, same with her as apprentice. I like how she's a little bit more aggressive, that I kind of like. She seems to be a little bit loose in the brain, but I like them right now, and I'm looking forward to see just where that dynamic goes between those two. But I can see it coming down between the two masters and their Padawans and apprentices. By the time we get to the end, I can see it, and I'm looking forward to it. But I like it so far.
Gage?
They're not my favorite thing about the show, but they're the thing that I find probably the most interesting about the show, because they are that side of Jedi that like runs the middle. There's a reason and a purpose for which he's on the journey he's on, and taking his Padawan on that journey. They are clearly not Sith. Like, Sith, she has a Padawan braid in the back of her head, right? But they have their missions, and they're on those things. This show is, I cannot say that in 2 episodes this show has done what I have been saying Star Wars needs to do, which is make Jedi cool again. But it has
the potential. Like,
it's working in that direction.
The needle's moving.
And I think so much of what that potential lies in is these two characters. I don't necessarily, like, we know who Ahsoka is and what she can do and how good she is at doing what she can do. Whether or not she's a good master and will be able to train Sabine to also end up being some form of Jedi, right? So now it is this journey of Ahsoka in what is supposed to be her show, is it about her going back to the Jedi ways, or being like, no,
build a new
I'm about
Jedi?
the Force. Yes, like the gray Jedi, like they used to have, which, like, you know, we're not like, because the other thing that I feel like them pulling that up, you know, with the witchcraft and which is, you know, the Sisters of Dathomir, the Witches of Dathomir are they're Force users. But they use the Force in a way that is more like witchcraft. But it is the dark side of the Force that they use. Which, it doesn't seem to me that these two characters are using the dark side of the Force.
Correct.
They actually seem to be sort of afraid of her and her use of that power. But they're still kind of doing what they want to do based on whatever their agenda happens to be. And I think that is the most interesting thing. And there's a part of me that feels like, while there is clearly going to have to be a battle of some sort between them and Ahsoka, I don't know that they're necessarily going to end up on opposite sides of things. He is literally after power. Like, he says, like, Song gets free, it's gonna be that power. You know what I mean? And it could be for him that he's on this journey of like, we need to bring the Jedi back to some level of power, and the only way to do that is
through Thrawn,
right?
Through Thrawn, right? We need that,
or something. You know what I mean?
Along those lines.
You know, look, I will tell you now, if there's a fight between him and Ahsoka, and a fight between Sabine and his Padawan, and Sabine loses that fight, wins that fight, I'm calling shenanigans.
Oh no, Sabine ain't.
There's no way.
She
ain't getting
trained
up.
Yeah, she has to learn. She has to retrain. Go back to her training. What they were doing before. Because right now we've seen like Shorty will body her. She practically did.
Well, I was about to say, sir,
she practically did
body her. Oh, but here's the other thing, and this is one of the things that like Jedis should be cool, but my biggest problem with Jedi is they're too much like Superman. They got too many powers. They can do anything. And so like what they like, Ahsoka does have this ability to like walk up to something and like force remember something that happened when she wasn't there. You know what I'm saying?
I'm happy you brought
and
that
like
up. Yeah.
My man walks up and he's like, the captain's like, you ain't no Jedi. If you don't stop playing, right? Not knowing that they're force users and whatever. But for real, why didn't my man just be like, we are Jedi, and wave his hand and just make the captain think they're Jedi and just be like, you're supposed to release Morgan Le Fay, Morgan, to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, her name's not Le Fay. Her name is Morgan. Like, you're supposed to release her to us. I know you gotta have a fight, and I know they gotta bring their lightsabers out, and you gotta show that they don't care.
We gotta do all that, but you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. When I think about it, that could have been an easy just, come on, bro, let me just get down there and pick up and leave.
Yeah, like if you Jedi, like if you, and here's why I say that. Dog, I have watched everything Star Wars there has ever been to watch. And I'm gonna ask y'all a question.
Okay.
When in the history of Star Wars we've seen Jedi pull whole Star Destroyers out of the sky.
Facts.
We know they can do some powerful things. You ever seen a Jedi pick one of them robot locks that takes a R2-D2, a droid?
Nope.
Hey, Slim,
never.
And now I look at
pick that joint clean, and I like that is the most impressive Jedi thing I've seen since this show. Like, that's the most impressive Jedi trick in the show. And he unlocks her handcuffs. We're just like, whoop, they off you. When? Go.
Anakin and Obi-Wan, including Luke, there were so many opportunities they had to depend on R2-D2.
Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon Jinn, these members have stood like on defense mode, waiting for R2-D2 to dig his little discs into that thing and pick a lock, bro.
Qui-Gon tried to just cut through the whole entire door. On the Separatist ship, and it didn't even.
So like Jedi, just like again, like the plot armor for Jedi is kind of like, okay, look, bro. Again, for me, I'm a big person on the suspension of disbelief within the universe you've created and within the rules that you have set. And so many Jedi can do so many different things that like other ones can't do. That I just feel like there needs to be some level of like
those simple things that they can do. And
can't everybody do Jedi mind tricks or no?
Right.
Like, not everybody can force remember things. Not everybody can force run or force jump, or you know what I'm saying?
Everybody has that specific thing that they are good at. They're experienced,
and that's what they stick.
Some may be able to do some of the certain things, but they can't do it to the same degree.
Oh, but all of them can force push anyone away. And these Bammers will fight instead of just force pushing a Bammer off the side of the
joint. They're supposed to be super noble and super, we're of a higher thinking and all that kind of stuff.
And I will say, and then we could.
If you don't walk off your ship pretending to be Jedi that you're not, that you are, and force push the captain out of the way. Just force push. Just
move.
You know what I'm saying? Just wave your hand and say, "Hand me the keys to the joint." Like I just don't. I don't
Yeah.
You understand? So like it does something to me. It like even in the moment when I'm excited, I'm like, yeah, they out here with the lightsabers and they getting it. In the back of my head, I'm like, this is a waste of energy, dog. Like I don't understand what we're doing.
Why did he just do A, B, and C?
I don't, and especially how you say Balin, like, and you can tell by the way he uses his lightsaber. That dude is very meticulous about everything because there isn't like
the Vader, bruh.
The overuse of the swing and everything. He moves it ever so slightly to bend and block a beam when it comes at him. That like simply open the door. He could have just immediately just moved them all aside and did it. So I do like that about him, and I feel like you're seeing more of those Jedi elements that he has versus saying being the dark side of the Force. Like he doesn't necessarily embrace it, but he isn't afraid to do those things if needed.
Probably do something to be a teaching lesson for his Padawan. That's maybe why he does certain things like that, so that she can do it and you see how she reacts to the situation.
Here's the thing. I feel like the reality of it is that all Jedi, all Force users are absolutely full of themselves. I feel like Jedi all of them are on Magneto's side. They're just like, hey, we the next evolution, dog. I don't know what y'all are it's one of them things where it's like, it's almost like in that moment, they have all this training, they have all this stuff, they study for years, they go off by themselves or whatever, and when it's time to do something, they're like, bro, I got all this training, I just want to use it. So like, yeah, you know what? Let's fight. You know what I mean?
It's like they stand next to. That's why they take the robes off the way to do. Everyone.
You said what?
Yeah, the robe.
Like, you want my ID? Nah, I ain't gonna show you my ID.
Yeah. Like it's just, like I just feel like they get to this point where it's like they've been training for all these years and they never get to use their stuff. They never get to actually do what it is they train for, or whatever. And especially now, because it's like, what's the chance you're gonna meet somebody else who's a Force user and actually really have to like them? They could have just walked into that joint. I mean, they did walk in the joint and sweep everybody, but they could have done it so much more easily. They didn't have to kill nobody in the room. They could have just been like
100 on stealth easily.
No, she went to the bridge and smoked everybody on the bridge. Unnecessary, completely unnecessary. Could have just went in like no bull. Could have just walked in that joint, force choked the captain. Was like, go ahead and give us so and so. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, done.
That's all they had to do, and it could have been over. They knew there was no way they could be beat. They knew there's no way they can stop. So it's almost like they just in there. We just playing around with y'all because why not? You know what I mean? And that's, I feel like almost all Jedi. Like you're fighting droids. They don't even have y'all being all fancy and hitting them from behind. They're droids, dog. If you don't throw that lightsaber and circle that joint around through all them joints and just catch that joint back and leave, but they be like, you know what? I'm about to show off because I got these skills and I feel like I want to use them. I want to do something with them. That's it. The Jedi show off powers.
I dig it.
Show off powers.
But not facts. But bringing us a little bit back, but ending episode 1, like we were just talking about how Sabine does eventually have to pull out a lightsaber. She has Ezra's lightsaber. She's modified it.
I thought that was cool.
Once she opened up the map, of course, Shin and a couple of the droids showed up at her place to try to take it, and
I give her kudos. She was quick off the response when that first droid came at her. She was quick with it. Big respect.
Because them joints look like they hurt, bruh. Like, she was kind of wrestling with it. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I was thoroughly impressed. Like, all right, Sabine.
Yeah, me too, dog.
That thing came out of nowhere. You was right there with it. Like, salute.
So yeah, definitely 100%. Props to her. She took out one, and then obviously the other one got a hold of the map and literally ran out. And when she was following behind, of course, she runs into Shin. They have their little tussle. They have their little fight, and Sabine gets shanked. And normally those type of shanks is kind of like, oh, And that's where that first episode ends. And I'm thinking that would have been
I let out an O. I let out an O.
I'd have been like, that would have been a dope cliffhanger to just leave that until the following week. But now we got the second episode. And luckily Ahsoka did get there in time enough. She was able to take her, get the medical treatment that she needs. Sabine is okay. So that would have been a dope wait a week and come back to at that point.
Nah, that would have been torture, bro. Nah, run it back. Give me the next episode right now.
I will say though, Sabine clearly has had a decent amount of training in using the lightsaber, because her and Shin, to me, their fight, you could tell that they were a little green with using the lightsaber, and their fight wasn't as clean as like a Obi-Wan Anakin type of thing. But the two of them definitely.
Shorty was playing with her.
Yeah,
she was playing with you.
Yeah, she was playing with her. Nah, bro.
She was playing like for real, 100%, dog. In all of the training that child has to have, she could not possibly have ever fought somebody else with a lightsaber except her own master.
Yeah.
There's nobody else with a lightsaber. When Youngin pulled the lightsaber out, she had to be like, oh yes.
Let's go.
And when she saw the way she held that joint, she was like, oh nah,
I'm about to body you. Yeah.
I'm about to
yeah,
because she already had the mat. She could have just dipped. She did not have to fight Sabine. No. She could have force pushed this youngin into a wall. This is what I'm saying. No. They be playing around.
She wanted all the smoke with her. She had to prove something to herself.
She just pulled out the lightsaber and waited for Sabine to charge her. She was like, "Oh, you can't be serious. Oh, you can't." And when Sabine charged, she was like, "Oh, you serious?
You really want to do
this jump?"
Okay.
Yeah, I'm itching.
I was waiting.
Yeah, like Shorty got bodies. We just watched her put a. They scuttled the whole ship.
The fact
she just murdered everybody.
She got bodies, bruh. She ain't thinking nothing about Sabine. Where did you get that joint from? Like, dog, if General Grievous was around, dog, he'd have took that joint. He'd have
collected that joint.
What? Come on, dog. That joint would have been on Slim Hip.
It'll be more even by the last episode when they have their fight. But that first one, Sabine stood no chance. Yeah. I give her like having heart, pulling out, getting ready for it. Cool, but sweetheart, you don't stand a chance in this one.
Yeah, I give you that. But Shin was smart enough when Ahsoka did show up. She went ahead and got low because
she walked off.
That was.
Yeah, but she did. She just walked. She just
walked away. Walked off. She ran away all scared. Like, all right, she here. I guess I leave. I got what I came for.
But also, let's remember that she murdered her, and then she walked off. Yeah. So it wasn't like she was like, and it was like a quick joint. It was an accident. No, she purposefully drove her saber through the abdomen of the Sabine. So like, and then just walked away, and like. And had her little droid back up too.
Yeah, and droid saw her. I was like, nope, I'm walking off with the map.
They don't hit the self-destruct mode. You know what I mean? And like waited for Ahsoka to just hit the. Nah, she just walked off. Yeah.
Well, like I said though, Ahsoka got there.
I like her, young. I'm just going to listen. I like her.
Who the villain?
Shin?
Yeah,
I do too. I like
that. That's my ball game all day. Yeah,
but I like her.
Yeah. But Ahsoka, of course, gets to her, saves her, takes her. They patch her up. At this point, Ahsoka, they're in like the hospital room. I guess Bacta tanks still. They're real, but I guess we didn't use. Yeah, whatever.
Force healing, dog.
Force healing. Ahsoka apparently doesn't have that yet. At least not yet.
Clearly used it. What are you talking about, dog? Sabine should be dead, bro. Nobody has ever survived one of those.
I mean,
in the history.
That's what I was saying.
In the history of Star Wars, bro.
Well, that shows that she's the next one. She survived it.
I guess because she took it to the side. I mean, Qui-Gon took it right through the gut.
But he took it through the gut. Then got kicked down a shaft.
No, he didn't. Qui-Gon just fell right in.
Oh, no, that's right. Yeah.
He just fell right in at Darth Maul.
Yeah, Darth Maul got kicked down the shaft and
It's
survived
the
that point. That's the closest thing. That's the closest thing. Nobody has survived an actual shanking. He survived a slicing.
Oh my god.
All right.
But,
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So saves her. She heals up. You know, she still wants to help Ahsoka, but Ahsoka's like, listen, nah, you stay in the bed. I'm gonna go do something right quick. And you know, Ahsoka, you know, just initially we're thinking she's just going back looking for clues or whatever, but there was a little ulterior motive. The one droid originally that Sabine was fighting actually never left and was just in her. It was just in her place, hiding in the Raptors. Ahsoka gets there.
She knew that because she asked her how many droids it was. Because she knew that there was 3 from before. She knew it was 3. There was 3 from before. So she was like, "How many droids was it?" And she said 2. And she was like, "All right."
Yeah, all right. I mean, you get better, sweetheart. I'll be back. We'll go check something out.
She goes there. Third droid's there. Tries to take on Ahsoka with no success at all. And Ahsoka's just like, "Yeah, I knew you were still going to be here."
Nah, dog. That cat was like
snitch.
Cat was like,
hey, it's a joke right there. I'm looking at it.
I'm listening at it. Yeah. She knew the droid was dead, like she was waiting for it.
Yeah.
But
still funny.
Takes out the droid, manages, you know, chops his head off, takes the head back to Sabine to try to figure things out because they know, you know, memory logs, things are still intact. Sabine is able to find out where the droid came from, which leads them to another planet where
she almost killed everybody in the hospital doing it, but yes.
Except for Youngin on the hologram.
Straight up.
Hair was
like,
fine.
Hey, you ain't. Hey, listen. Huyang was like, "You ain't here."
Because she was trying to like, "Yeah, go ahead and do it."
You ain't here. Wow.
But we found where the droid came from, and of course that planet, that area. They're like, "Oh yeah, this is this used to be Morgan's like facility that she used to run half days." You know, the question is just like, well, have you double checked into what's still going on there? Or not, and it's kind of like, yeah, we did, but it was a very unsure type of we did. So it's like, all right, let's go ahead and let's go there right quick because clearly something is going down.
Let me hit that. I'll meet you there.
So both Hera and Ahsoka go to the planet, run into the dude. I'm guessing he's like the manager of the facility, and you know. Ahsoka and Hera, they're chill right now. It's like we just want to look around. We just want to see how things are going. You know, they asked them the questions. You know, what happened to Morgan's assets when she got taken away? You know, they were like, "Oh, it all got redistributed for things for the Republic, like for the good of the Republic." They weren't buying that, and it's like
every time he spoke, they looked at each other like, "You hear this
BS?" The facts. And it's like, listen, we just want to look around things. He was like, "Nah, I'm a busy guy. I ain't got time for this." And so Hera pulls rank. And it's like, listen, I can make this more formal if you want to. And that's where he was just like, you know what? I got time. I got time for you. So they start doing the things, they start uncovering, trying to figure out what is actually going on. They go up to what I'm gonna say is probably like the command bridge where they facilitate ships going out, ships coming in, cargo, things like that. And once they get there, they notice there's a hyperdrive engine that's just, you know, chilling out, looking like it's getting ready to be moved someplace else. The guy kind of gives an explanation that this is going to be used for the good of the Republic. Hera straight up says, what the hell is big enough that needs something like that hyperdrive engine? Because as right now, there's nothing, like she's like, there's nothing that we have that thing is going to be able to be used for. And that question at that point then starts making things a little more uncomfortable. He goes to like his log to try to search this out and be able to tell her what it is. And then he pulls it's classified. I was like, do you know who she is?
general.
He knows. She already told him.
Yeah.
And you're gonna try to pull the classified thing on her. She said, "I'm the general. Ain't nothing classified to me." And this is where things in the room just start getting a little uncomfortable because there are a few other people in the room. There's a droid, and there's like 3 others that are on console,
in the room.
and like 3 others on the console. So once a few other questions start going out, one of the droids actually interjects because they're trying to figure out where and what is on this ship or that's about to take off with the hyperdrive engine. And the droid just flat out say, "Oh yeah, there's a droid getting ready to take off on there."
Yeah,
I think
they asked about was there assassination droids like they repurposed and used out there, and he was like, "Nah, why would we ever do that?" Like, nah, one came out the other day.
the droid was saying, "Like, get in there."
Boys be snitching. Man.
his face went.
Slim didn't like him. Was having a bad day. Was late. That was a droid that was late to work. My man got reprimanded. That thing was like, I just seen it. Did you ask why that would be? And Slim was like, "Yeah, but they told me that was outside of my knowledge base. You know what I mean? Like, they told me."
Yeah, and so droid spilled all the beans, and so Hera was just like, "All right."
When that droid did that, he looked at that droid the same way Black Dynamite looked at him when she came in the room and interrupted him. Like,
hey, that was the beast.
I ain't even gotta look. He was hot, bro. Like, you don't shut up. Like,
oh my god.
Oh my gosh. The beast, dog.
Oh my god. So so Hera's just like, let's just put an end to this and just tell that ship it ain't clear to take off. And excuses start flying. The one that's like on the control deck is like, nah, they're already cleared for takeoff. I don't give a damn. You tell them they cannot take off right now.
100%.
It's just throwing every excuse, and then all of a sudden we start seeing some of the other ones that are on these consoles start reaching. And I'm like, oh,
don't do it.
And of course, the one just decides to come out and then yell for the Empire. Like
Hail Hydra.
Right.
I don't know what the yell was gonna do, but
get his ass shot and locked up.
Yeah, he knew he was dying.
All of them. Like, so, needless to say, clearly the influence of the Empire is still here. And
I like that teamwork together in that moment with killing everybody. It's like it didn't seem new to how they did it. Like, it just seemed like regular to them. The little combos they were using for shoot. Like, yeah.
Like Rebels, dog. So at that point, we already know we got to get this ship. We got to get dude on there. Ahsoka tell Hera, go get the Phantom. Ahsoka cuts out the glass and just jumps down, starts running after the ship. And she ends up running into an Inquisitor and a droid. I say the droid like the droid really is going to do something, but she runs into an Inquisitor and a droid.
In that moment, in that scene, oh yeah, it was real.
And so obviously she has what's standing in between her and trying to catch the ship. Luckily, Hera's on the ship, and we see her. And of course, Chopper is in the ship. Chopper's still hilarious.
He was funny.
I believe Dave Filoni is actually voicing Chopper in this joke.
I swear Chopper was saying words.
No, he was, but that's how he is.
Yeah, okay.
It's like it's like Kenny in South Park. Like, you can still kind of make out what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was laughing at.
I loved it. So, hey, listen, Hera and Chopper, when they're flying after the ship trying to stop them, like, their banter back and forth, like, literally that joke came straight out of Rebels. And
his little arms out his head doing stuff.
And that was beautiful. And they're trying to chase it down. And she tells Chopper, "Is like, listen, get a tracking beacon ready." Because Hera already knows, like, as soon as they get out of this planet's atmosphere, they're jumping to hyperdrive. We ain't catching them. It is what it is. And of course, he lost the tracking mechanism. He had to go searching through everything.
My man was like, "Where you put it?" Where you put the stuff? She's
like, I didn't.
Oh, let me.
There it
is. Talking dog, like he was. Let me. Oh, there you go.
Hey, that was so funny.
So clean. That whole entire thing was so clean.
Yeah.
Needless to say, ship of course jumps into hyperdrive, but Chopper was able this time, because apparently there's been some times that he wasn't able to do it. Landed a tracking beacon on the ship, so they could track it at least. While they're doing that, of course, Ahsoka makes quick work of the droid. We're just gonna droid's done, but then has a little bit of a battle with the Inquisitor. Now I'm intrigued.
With Merrick, the Inquisitor is Merrick.
Yeah. Oh, we do know. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah.
Got it. So that fight was short. Like, it wasn't nothing. Honestly, the two of them was like they were testing each other than anything else. Obviously, he's just trying to stall just enough time so that ship can get into hyperspace and go.
Now he tried to kill it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, but like he tried to kill it. I'm with it.
My favorite moment of these episodes came from their fight, and it's when he throws the lightsaber and it's gone, but you know it's coming back. He jumps up on the ship to get away. Hey, the straight anime moment, dog. Straight anime moment. Just bobs her head a little bit just to weave it coming back. I was like, yeah, anime gang, let's go. Let's go.
That moment right there, I was like, oh, these Bama's trying to make Jedi cool again. Hold on.
Yes.
Oh, I was right there. I was like, oh, they trying to make Jedi cool. Okay.
First thing popped in my head is when One Piece reference, but when Luffy dodged the bullet when he came back, when somebody tried to move his head a little bit, like, what are you doing? Like, let's go. Yeah. Clean. Go ahead.
Good little introduction. We get to see them. So Inquisitor, of course, jumps up on the ship with Shin. That ship just goes off with Ahsoka just staring at them into the space at that point. But Hera gives her the good news. You know what? Tracking beacon is on that ship. We can find it and we'll be good to go from that point forward.
Arrest all these Bama's. Everybody.
After
that,
all of them got arrested. And manager dude, he's still like, he in cuffs walking up the ramp, looking at them like, why you gotta do this? Like, for real?
Listen, my man straight up told them, they was like, so what about you and the Imperial? And he was like, I'm a businessman. I go where the money is. You know what I mean? Oh, okay, so yeah, so you know.
Yeah, he wasn't lying.
But they paying you.
Yeah.
Now you know what's up, but you getting paid.
Because that whole place, matter of fact, when they were first walking through to get to like the command, everybody was giving them the side eyes as they was going through there. And it was a ton of people. They were all giving the side. So it was like, oh, they all in on it. So needless to say, they definitely arrested every single person in that plant that was still there afterwards for it. Almost to the end of the episode. Obviously at this point, Sabine is having a moment where she does realize that she does want to go back to being a Padawan. We do see that throughout the episode with Sabine and Ahsoka having their little tough moments, but inevitably the two of them are going to come back together. In the trailers, you know, we saw Sabine both ways with the long hair and the short hair. We kind of figured eventually she was going to go back to the short hair because she was going to become the Padawan again. I guess the long hair Jedi thing, but it does really become a thing with Jedi and long hair, whatever. But Sabine, of course,
I think it's just as much a Mandalorian thing.
True.
Like just the helmet back on and you know, really do that.
To do that.
You know, they have their rituals,
But Sabine, of course, you know, she goes back to Lothal. She gets all of her Mandalorian gear, her helmet, everything put on, grabs the lightsaber. She goes back to the memorial that shows Ezra and all them and the pain from Rebels on there, and her having that moment.
True. Yeah.
That joint's beautiful. Like, that joint is literally yanked right out of the show.
Yeah.
For real life. It excellent, beautifully done.
That whole moment is literally like shot for shot, basically right out of the show with Ahsoka showing back up. Yeah.
But after she has her moment, of course, Ahsoka shows up. You know, it's time to go. Like, we know where they're at. Let's go ahead and make a move. You know, they get on the ship, and this is that moment where they solidify becoming Master and Padawan again. Laying the coordinates, they're ready for hyperspace, and she's just like, you know what? take us out, Padawan. Puts the ship in the hyperdrive, and they take off for our new adventure at this point for it. That pretty much puts a bow on the first 2 episodes. I'm still where I'm at. Like, I thought these 2 episodes were executed to the T. Thought the pacing was good. Thought we got we got some information. Obviously, there's some question marks that I like, but I like that we got at least got a good balance of it both ways for it. There was, like, I don't want to get too deep into this, especially because I don't want to really spoil anything for people that haven't played Jedi Survivor. I don't know about you guys, but I saw a lot of similarities between the story that we're looking at right now in Jedi Survivor. Just some similarities and things between the 2 of them. And I don't know about you guys, I kind of got a few vibes of like the High Republic stuff between these 2 episodes. I don't want to get too deep into that for people, especially if you haven't played that game, if you're not familiar with the High Republic and all that is something I would say probably you want to go gain some knowledge on, because I think within the future of some of this Star Wars stuff, the High Republic stuff is really going to show here before we start making that trip back to putting those pieces together.
Are we getting a High Republic show in some form, whether it's in the Acolyte or something else? Yeah, coming in the future. Yeah, so yeah.
I think we're seeing some of those pieces being woven in through a lot of these things, and so when it comes time for it, like, you're into it. But overall, I thought everything was put together real well. I'm still good with my 8. I think an 8 is solid on here. Gage, you still in the same place?
I'm at 8. I'm at 8. For the combination episode, I'm at 8.
Sin, still 8.5 for you?
I'm still at an 8.5. I really enjoyed these 2 episodes, and I am extremely looking forward to next week. Just seeing where they take it next after these 2. So I'm on the train. I'm hyped for it.
Dig it. So Ahsoka is off to a good start. I guess it's safe to say at this point, the Book of Boba Fett still remains at the bottom of the list of all the Star Wars shows, even 2 episodes in right now.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot can happen in.
I could happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
for right now, yes. We'll see what happens next week. You never know.
I'm good with it. So 8.5 for these first 2 episodes of Ahsoka. Guys, we'll wait till next week, but you know what? This is going to be the thing. We'll be here for Spoiler Boys for all of Ahsoka, so make sure you stay tuned, listening, watching wherever you are, because we're on this ride and we're going the whole way through with it. But guys, I think any other parting words, or I think we're good to wrap this one up.
Good to go.
Wrap it up, B.
Awesome. This has been your Spoiler Boys episode for Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2. Stay tuned for our Spoiler Boys on episode 3 coming to you next week. But until then, we will catch you later. What's good, Loading Snacks universe? Did you think that was too sweet? Well, do me a favor. Like, share, and subscribe on whatever platform you're watching us on. And also, jump on over to patreon.com/loading snacks, where you can support us in everything we do and pick the tier of your choice. Much appreciated.